A student at the University of Texas at San Antonio made a derogatory statement, or rather an alleged derogatory statement, during class in the middle of a discussion about Islam. What was his statement? That a bisexual male, like himself, would be killed in places where Islam was the dominant religion, say Saudi Arabia, for instance. This is, of course, not a hateful statement or a derogatory statement, but a fact. It was enough to cause an internal screeching within the professor, who then called the student to meet her in her office. The student decided to record the conversation with the intention of sharing the interaction, likely anticipating what was to come. The conversation is linked in the description. It's up on VidMe because the professor, Doctor of Philosophy, Dr. Brown, contacted YouTube and had the video taken down for copyright purposes. However, Texas is a one-party consent state. You can record a conversation that you are a part of without the other party's knowledge. Dr. Brown was not in the legal right to have this video taken down. So to avoid all of that nonsense, I'll just leave it in the description for you to check out for yourself. Here, however, is a golden piece from the video. This is the type of intellect you can expect from Dr. Brown in this video clip. Would it really get me fired to say that I could be killed somewhere? In that situation, as you've described it, absolutely yes. How? To which she responds, "Don't even ask. It's clear that you're not taking my word for it. I don't care to convince you. If I can't persuade you that it's in your interest to behave in ways that other people don't find offensive and objectionable, then at least I've done my job." That's right, folks. This is a doctor of philosophy that teaches at a university. Keep that in mind. Don't even ask. It's clear that you're not taking my word for it. I don't care to convince you. This thought policing has gotten out of control, especially over the past 2 years. And hell, 5 years ago, I would have said that the following statement was moronic, but now it seems logical. Boycott universities. They have been compromised by cultural Marxists who are indoctrinating students instead of informing them and encouraging them to come to their own conclusions. I would encourage people to check out trade schools and to experiment with online universities that are free and offer the same information, without all of the peer pressure and activism. The Khan Academy, which is online, is great for this. When I was in college, I spent years taking classes I wasn't even remotely interested in and wasted a lot of time and a lot of money. Places like the Khan Academy give you an opportunity to find out what it is you're interested in, practice, and then if you end up going to college, you already have a good foundation for those ideas. There is a groupthink at these learning institutions, and while you might think that it makes sense as everyone should be on the same page in regard to the facts, there is a shaming of certain opinions, casting them off as physically harmful or hateful. This prevents original ideas from surfacing with the threat of having your words misinterpreted and twisted to look hateful. This happens a lot, and people are afraid to speak their minds. These people who are afraid to speak, they aren't Nazis or fascists. They are regular-ass Joes like you and me.
Today, I had a tutorial at the University of Toronto where I talked about Jordan Peterson and issues of personal identity, legally sanctioned identity categories, etc. I brought up a video of a tall white man in his 30s who asked students at a university how they'd react if he told them he identified as a woman, as black, as short, and as 5 years old. Spoiler alert. Students in the video resist some of the later categories a bit, but are mostly accepting. Still, students were not engaging in discussion. I asked them why. One said it was because she was worried to share her opinion for fear of being singled out or saying something offensive. I asked who else was not speaking for that reason. The whole class put their hands up. That was shocking to me. I encouraged them to speak despite their worries, and they gave me some good feedback on how to make it easier for them to do so. For instance, by working in pairs and being assigned an opinion so that they didn't have to be responsible for it or feel bad for defending it. No participation. Why? They weren't uninterested. They were afraid to speak their minds. The PC police are in your heads. You just heard a lawyer's opinion.
It isn't that people want to be free to say racist things. It's that people want to be free to say what they have to say without the threat of somebody interpreting it as being racist. Anything can be interpreted in any way. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. If you're interested in reading up more on this subject, I'll leave a link to the post from Reddit where I found this initial story, as well as the VidMe link that has the interview between the student and Dr. Brown. But feel free to let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. I'd like to hear you guys have to say about all this. And hey, here's a silver lining. This woman, Dr. Brown, she's a doctor of philosophy. So for anybody who's an aspiring philosophy major out there, this is the bar right here. And it doesn't really seem to be much of a bar as it is a curb.